All right, hey peeps, Merry Christmas. I'm out here in the shop and I'm prepping for my first charcuterie board, and I'm using some oak, and as you can see, it's well eat up with worms, which is a good thing because what I'm planning on doing is filling these with epoxy. Now I'm going to cut several of these and then glue them together and turn it over and do the other side and do both. And this was about a 4.5 inch log, and I cut it on my table saw over there, and then I screwed it down to a skid plate and ran it through the joiner planer, well first the surface planer and joiner planer, so I could cut it into 1 inch slabs. And then I got to cut a couple more so that I can get about 3 across, maybe 4. And then I'm going to do some crazy jointery on the end down here, and I'll show you pictures of that later. And I may get to a point where I can actually set up a video and you guys can watch me do the whole process, and then I can just fast forward through the boring stuff like right now. But I wanted to give you an idea how much actual labor goes into work on one of these. When you first cut the board, let me show you here close. Can you see, it'll focus, all of the sawdust that is in the holes? You see that? Let me get in there. All that has to be dug out so that you have something to put the epoxy in, because you don't want that coming loose on your cheese or your meat or whatever you're serving. So what I do is I have a set of chisels and picks, and then of course let me do this, and then I use the point here on this paddle bit, and that gets down in there on the big stuff. And then I have dental tools that I use, and then you can see some of these cavities go pretty deep, so you want to get all of that sawdust out of there so you can seal it up really good with the epoxy. And then we're going to I'll run it back through the surface planer, and then I'll sand it down, and then I'll spray it with water so I can get the grain to stand, and then I will sand it down to about probably 800 or 900 grit and get it super buttery smooth. And then I'll put food grade mineral oil and then a beeswax mixture, and then let that soak in real good, set 24, 36 hours, and then I'll put a wax, a food grade wax on it, and then it'll be done, ready to go. I'm going to be making a bunch of these out of some old scrap lumber, and then I'll have them at the farmer's market. Y'all can purchase them and, support old retired people. And you see I'm making some more signs here. This is how I make them. My secret is I just print out what it is I want it to say, and then I use the big router and the finish router to do the fine work. And you can see this is just starting to rough in. And then of course one of the other things I'm going to look at doing in the future, like with this Lotus, I'm going to use a translucent epoxy and fill this, and then sand that back down, and then it'll almost glow. And then of course the lettering over here will just be black, and then we'll see how it goes. Anyway, these are the first ones I've ever made. This will be the very first charcuterie board that I've ever made, and so let's see how that works out. And I'm still looking for a better transfer. I did this one by just printing it out on a regular piece of paper on my printer, and then I laid it on the board. I sanded the board down really good. Of course, it's got a little bit of a finish on it now, But and then I just taped it down, and then I used a spoon and just rubbed it like that on the back side, and it transferred over. Now, since I have bought some actual transfer paper that you use like with an iron, or I think I got a piece of it down here. Here we go. Like you use with an iron. This is what it's called, Photo Paper Direct. And then here's one. And then like you use, like if I'm gonna put this on a t-shirt, I just turn it down like this, and then I take an iron, just on high heat, and iron it, and then let it cool, and then peel it off, and it transfers over. But it's not doing very well on wood. And I think because this particular transfer was made for cloth, and so that might be what it is. Or actually, I didn't bring the iron out here and use the iron, so maybe that was my mistake. I'm gonna try it with an iron and see. But this is just a heat gun. It's sort of like a super hot hair dryer. And what this does is, like if you have shrink tube for electric wire, you put it on there and then you hit it with that. Or if you're vulcanizing rubber or whatever, you use this to do it. Anyway, so I thought I'd give you a little deal about what I'm doing today. Just playing around in the shop since it's Christmas Day and I got a little time, and I'm just doing some experimenting here and see what it is. So I hope you and yours have a lovely Christmas Day. Eat a lot, drink a lot, be merry. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.